Well, good evening. Hope you're doing okay tonight. It is the 14th in the evening here in Doha. I had a lovely sunset here tonight. Wintertime is here, thankfully. As I've said before, summers are brutal, winters are gorgeous. And sunset tonight was magnificent. Aside from that, hope you had a good day. Mine was interesting. But now we get to talk about something that's fun. We're going to talk about watches. And tonight, we are going to talk about the WISE AD751R. So this is a dress watch in PVD Rose Gold. It's got a Miyota movement in it. And it's a really nice, good-looking watch. Fits nice, wears nicely. And I think you'll like it. I know I do. So let's get started. All right, tonight, before we get started, I'm wearing another not WISE product. This is the ADX 110. It is a Traveler's GMT. Looks an awful lot like a Batman. We've talked about it briefly before. I do plan on doing a video where I'm going to compare this with my colleague's Rolex. And in my opinion, it compares pretty nicely. Talking about WISE as a company. All right, so it's based in Bangkok. And all of their designs and their assembly and regulation of the movement is done in Bangkok. Now, where they have things manufactured, I don't know. We could all hazard a guess. But most of that work is done by Thai citizens in Thailand, which is nice. I like to support small businesses. Now, Thailand is not the first place you think of when you think of watches. Thailand has other reputations, some good, some less than good. However, in terms of watches, I think that this brand has an awful lot to offer. And we're going to go through some of those. Their product line is quite wide and quite diverse. They have a lot of different models available, from dress watches to GMTs to a brand new chronograph that they're offering, to a wide line of dive models. They come in lots of different colors, different sizes. One thing that is consistent across the line is they all have very, very good lume. If you want to see some examples of lume for WISE watches, take a look at relative time. Shane is the champion of displaying and testing lume. The man's a scientist, for God's sake. Of course, he's good at testing things. However, take a look at that. He presents it in a very good, knowledgeable manner. Highly recommend relative time. Take a look at his vids. But the one we're going to talk about in particular, as we saw earlier, is the ADM751R. This watch is 40 millimeters, a little over 39 and a half. It's thin at under 12 millimeters. It has a boxed sapphire crystal that you can see there. And that case is coated in PVD Rose Gold. Now, PVD is not just a gold plating, okay? It is a physical vaporization of the gold molecules that is then adhered to the underlying stainless steel frame of the case. It's about 0.2 millimeters thick, and it is durable, it is scratch resistant, it won't rub off like you've seen on things that were gold plated before. When they have any sort of friction on them for a period of time, the gold rubs off and needs to be replated. Maybe you've got a white gold wedding ring. I know somebody who used to have one of those. Doesn't anymore. Another story, tears to the eyes, but it's okay. But it doesn't rub off, so it doesn't need to be replated. And it looks really good, highly polished, very, very nice. We're going to take a good close look at the watch. We'll talk about the specifications. We'll do a bit of a compare and contrast with their ADM9. Okay, that is another the Damascus line, but it is this one here that is in a red dial, a red sunburst. Now this one, while it is a very, very nice watch, I don't wear it all that often. I wish that I did because I do like it. Problem is, red dial, red face, doesn't look so good. Well, regardless of the watch, the face doesn't look so good anyway, regardless of what color it is. But we'll take a look at some of the differences between the two and some of the similarities. And you can make a decision what you like. I know for me, I really like that one in rose gold. I think it looks fabulous. I did put it on the time grapher tonight. And as you'll see on the video, it's about 2 to 3 seconds in terms of accuracy. And I think that's phenomenal. For a micro brand watch that's under $700, 2 to 3 seconds a day, what more can you ask for in terms of accuracy? Now this particular watch has a Miyota 919 movement in it. Now the 919, as with all the 9000 series, is based on that original 9015 from about 2008-2009. This particular movement, I think, made it to the marketplace around 2018. And really the only difference is WISE moved the date window portion from the usual 3 o'clock position to the 6 o'clock position. And in between the two movements themselves, the 15 and the 19, is the stack for the hands is just a little bit shorter. It's a little bit more than 1/4 of a millimeter shorter, which allows that case, allows the overall thickness of the watch to be just that little much thinner, which on a dress watch is a real good thing. Now this watch has a very, very nice, they call it a sienna enamel dial. So it's a nice, rich, deep brown color, almost has shades of red and burgundy in it. It's highly polished, highly reflective, very nice in terms of your dress watch. It has applied indices. While it has lume, it is not a lume monster. But it does have lume both on the hands, the indices, and the second hand, which is kind of nice. You can see the watch is actually working. More important for a tool watch, but kind of a nice feature on this one as well. It does have an open exhibition case back where you can see that movement. It has a gold-plated rotor for the automatic movement, which is kind of nice, makes it look good. And there's a little bit of striping on the bridges as well, which helps add to the overall decorative dress look of this watch. It comes on a really nice high gloss leather strap. I believe it may be alligator, but I'm not sure on that. Fits very comfortably, fits very nicely, and very, very pleased with it. So let's take a look at some of the specifics and actual photos of the watch, both on the wrist and in an exhibition format. So taking a look at this watch up close, we see that lovely case where the lugs descend very smoothly and nicely from the case itself. They're relatively thick, which to me gives it a good masculine look. 20 millimeters in terms of lug width. This does have quick release spring bars, so you could change this out for a different strap very, very easily if you like. Now, WISE does also offer bracelets that you can purchase separately if you wanted to wear this on steel. Now, keep in mind, most all of their products are the same alloy of stainless steel that Rolex uses, the 904L stainless steel. Why is that important? Well, the nice thing about the 904L is it does polish up a little bit more brightly than does 316L. However, the downside is It's also a little bit softer, so it's a little bit more susceptible to scratches. This particular watch, with that PVD gold on it, should be relatively less susceptible to scratching than your basic stainless steel. However, nothing is scratch proof, even though it'll have some scratch resistance to it. Again, as a dress watch, it's not something that I'm going to bang around. But taking a look at that dial, very nice. We talked about the indices. There is a chapter ring that goes around the outside with my minute and second indications. That minute and second hand extend all the way out to that chapter ring, which is really nice. Inside of the indices, there are also hour markers. In terms of the print on the watch itself, has the brand name with the model, WISE AD751R, at the 6 o'clock position, automatic, also indicating it's 100 meters of water resistance. And then the frame date window at the 6 o'clock position with a white date wheel. Now, I do think that the white date wheel fits nicely with this because it does accent that 6 o'clock stubby index versus the triangular indices that are at every other hour position. And I find that to add to the symmetry of this watch. It does have a signed crown. The case is mostly polished. The sidewall itself is brushed, but the tops and the chamfer, the nice wide chamfer going into the lugs, those are all nice and brightly polished. On the underside, you take a look at that movement. We talked about the striping that's on the main bridge, and it does have a custom rotor on that as well that has the company logo on it. It is unidirectional, so you won't get an awful lot of noise that sometimes you'll get with some of the other 9,000 movements from other brands. It does have a screwed down case back, screwed down crown, and 100 meters of water resistance. I think that's a pretty nice feature. Now, contrasting this with the 89, similar in terms of the layout. It doesn't have a date window. It has that sunburst effect to that red enamel dial. And the lume is a little bit more prominent on these indices and hands than it was on the 751. Same labeling and printing with the brand name, the model, automatic, and 100 meters of water resistance. Now this case is that 904L steel. Again, like with the 87, it has polished chamfers and polished tops to the lugs in the case. However, this one has a much more broad sidewall that is fully brushed. The crown is a little bit larger, also signed on this and also screwed out. And this one came on the bracelet. Although again, this can be removed, although it doesn't have quick release on it. It can be removed with a spring bar tool and a strap placed on it. This bracelet is a nice 3-link. It is brushed on the outside, polished on the inner links. However, like with most polished bracelets, it does become a fingerprint and a smudge magnet. So you're going to end up cleaning it quite frequently. But that's okay. Take a look at that. It is a very nice looking bracelet. It also is very good in terms of articulation. It does have a male end link, but it folds all the way over to a flat position, which allows this to fit very, very nicely on the wrist. Additionally, butterfly clasp. It's not particularly decorated. It's pretty plain, just a milled clasp on it, but it does close very nicely. It's not sequential. It closes with a very nice clip and a double deployment with the 2 push buttons. This watch, not quite as dressy as the 751, but I think it's a nice everyday watch that is usable in pretty much any situation that you can have, from the beach to the pool to the office to the club. As my son would say, Dad, don't ever do that again. But in the pair of them, very, very nice watches. Hey, thanks for joining me here tonight. We looked at a couple of WISE watches. We went into a little bit of depth on one in particular. I think these watches have an awful lot to offer. Are they perfect? No, of course not. There's no such thing as a perfect watch. There's no such thing as the best watch. It's all subjective. We've covered that before. However, in my opinion, I think these are good value, good quality. They've got lovely finishing. They have a great product line from which to choose. They have some very unique models as well as a couple of new ones that have just come out. And I think it's worth taking a look at it. With an open mind, looking at a brand that you may not have thought of before, but it actually enjoys a very, very rock-solid reputation throughout the microbrand community, give WISE a look. I think you'll be really pleased with what you find. I think you'll be very happy with whatever it is that you purchase. And I think you'll come back and buy a second one. I'm on my fourth right now, strongly considering a fifth, which probably means I'm going to do it. I know me. That's what I do. Anyway, hey, thanks again for being here. I do appreciate it. If you have the time and the inclination, please subscribe. I think I'm up to 30 some odd now, which is awesome. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay too. If you didn't make it this far in the video, well, I hope that you're having a good day with whatever it is that you're doing rather than spending time here. But if you are here, I do appreciate it. I had a good time. I hope you did as well. And look forward to seeing you again the next time. All right. Cheers. Be well.